resist a juicy serving of chicken, fried or straight off the grill? Or how about a delicious turkey sandwich with a little lettuce and tomato? In America, and across the world, chicken and turkey are two of our favorite meals and a family tradition for generations. But have you ever stopped to think about how this wholesome and affordable food product finds its way to your plate? For the next few minutes, we'd like to invite you to take a peek behind America's dynamic poultry industry. From the hatchery to the farm, chickens and turkeys follow quite a journey as they feed the demands of a hungry world. At the same time, you just may see the industry in an entirely different light. Poultry leads the way, for example, in the world's most advanced farm technology and production techniques. But it still holds true to a spirit of stewardship that sets the standard of care for animals and the land on which they're raised. The poultry success story begins not with the egg, but with the chicken in the specialized practice of selective breeding. Chickens, as well as turkeys, are carefully selected and bred to produce birds that will best thrive in today's modern poultry facilities. As a result, these birds are much healthier and faster growing stock than the chickens and turkeys of just a few years ago. The fertile eggs laid by these breeder flocks are incubated within environmentally controlled hatcheries. Modern incubators and hatching equipment provide just the right temperature and humidity for baby chicken and turkey development, so important to making sure they get off to a good start. There are alarms to notify hatchery staff of even the slightest change with conditions inside. Emergency generators provide backup electricity in case of a power outage. And just as the mother hen turns her eggs in the nest, the incubators handle all the work for her, automatically and throughout the day. Birds are naturally susceptible to a variety of avian diseases, which typically are not transferable to humans. That's why good sanitation practices within the hatchery are critical to preventing bacteria and diseases from being introduced. In addition, state-of-the-art vaccination techniques enhance the bird's disease resistance and overall health. Certain vaccines are now administered directly through the shell of the egg, a process called in ovo that inoculates the developing embryo so that immunities develop much earlier. The grow-out farm is the next step along the path of today's poultry production process. Poultry companies partner with farmers to raise newly hatched baby chicks and turkey poults. Even today, family farmers still own and operate the majority of these small poultry farms, helping to preserve the time-honored tradition of family life on the farm.
The poultry farm here, it truly is a family business. We've got the fifth generation on the way that may be interested in the poultry business, but me being the fourth generation of farming on this farm.
The processing companies contract with each farmer, providing technical advice as well as nutritious, specially formulated feed to ensure optimal grow-out of the birds under the farmer's watchful eye. Veterinarians employed by the companies also help oversee the health and well-being of each flock. Once the chicks grow into young meat chickens, they are called broilers. These broilers, and turkeys too, are raised in large barns. But these are far from the wooden barns of old that you might imagine. They are sophisticated, secure grow-out facilities with strictly controlled temperature, humidity, and ventilation systems inside, which provide vital protection from the outdoor elements, disease, and predators.
Well, the birds that are in the house, they can go to the water and drink or go to the feed anytime they want to. They're not crowded. They have plenty of room. They have everything they need, the ventilation, the heat, all the water and food, that they need to grow a good, healthy bird.
It is important to note that the birds are fed an all-natural diet consisting of wholesome grains like corn and soybeans, along with nutritional supplements such as vitamins and minerals. Contrary to some myths, growth-enhancing additives such as hormones or steroids are never used, and FDA-approved antibiotics are administered only under the direction of a veterinarian for disease control and prevention. The poultry industry takes great pride in providing one of the safest and healthiest food options available to consumers. These high standards and the attention to detail extend all the way down to the wood shavings or rice hulls that line the floor of the poultry grow-out facilities. Strict litter management programs, including regular replacement with fresh bedding, are employed to limit the buildup of unhealthy moisture and ammonia. In fact, poultry litter is a natural organic fertilizer, rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. Farmers recycle the litter for application on pastures and croplands, reducing the need for synthetic chemical fertilizers. This sustainable, pro-environmental practice also reduces the wasteful fuel and energy consumption required to manufacture other fertilizers. Inside the poultry barns, birds are free to walk and bed down on the litter, but this freedom certainly doesn't apply to humans. Admittance into the barns is highly restricted and requires visitors to wear protective footwear and special clothing. And the doors, walls, roofs, and screens of the barns are all carefully watched and maintained to prevent entry from outdoor pests and birds. These strict quality control measures not only ensure a healthier bird, but a much more efficient growth cycle. Back in the early days of the commercial poultry industry, around the 1940s, each chicken required approximately 16 pounds of feed to achieve a 4-pound weight. Today, that amount of feed has been reduced by more than half, less than 7 pounds of feed to grow the same size bird. Similar gains have been achieved in turkey production. For instance, it once took 29 weeks for a tom turkey to reach a live weight of 35 pounds. Today, the male turkey tips those scales in just 15 weeks. These tremendous advances in growth efficiency also contribute to a better environment for us all. Lower feed requirements reduce the demand for corn and soybean crops. This efficiency also aids in lowering the fuel consumption and exhaust emissions of the tractors and trucks that harvest and bring the grain to market. The safeguarding of natural resources by poultry farmers extends to respecting their neighbors as well. Where appropriate, vegetative buffer zones are planted around the poultry barns to filter rainwater runoff, while poultry litter stored on site is covered and protected from the elements.
We're real concerned about the environment as far as being poultry farmers. We want to be good stewards of the land.
The industry certainly has come a long way from the days when farmers raised a few chickens or turkeys in the backyard. Ironically, the truth about those simpler times is that much more feed, land, and labor were required in comparison with today. Not only that, but past efforts created a negative impact on the environment, while exposing the birds to disease and other outdoor threats. Today, life is certainly much easier for the chickens and turkeys inside the grow-out facility. But once they reach their full weight, it's time to move on. For the chicken, it's all in and all out. In other words, newly hatched chicks are placed in the barn all together at one time. The same is true when they leave. This method allows the empty barns to be thoroughly cleaned and disinfected to prepare for the next flock. Most turkeys are raised under the same method. However, since it takes longer to raise turkeys, they are sometimes transferred to a second barn designed for larger birds. Once the chickens and turkeys are full grown, they are processed for meat and eventually delivered to consumers across the world. But the job of maintaining a healthy food product is still not over. That responsibility now shifts to the consumer, who should properly handle and prepare poultry, in addition to other raw foods, to maintain food safety. Raw foods such as poultry, red meat, pork, dairy products, eggs, and seafood, as well as many fruits and vegetables, may carry bacteria that may cause illness. That's why poultry and other meat products should be cooked to a safe minimum internal temperature, while fruits and vegetables must always be washed. So there you have it. That's the story of poultry, and your behind-the-scenes glimpse at how chickens and turkeys are raised. It is a highly advanced process, and one that has responded to today's world and the requirements for an entirely different model of food production. In the future, the challenges to grow more food will be even greater. According to the FAO, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, the scarcity of food is a worldwide epidemic. encompassing nearly 1 billion hungry people. As populations continue to expand, it is estimated that food production must double by the year 2050 to meet the demand. Producing more food on existing farms or acquiring new farmland is not the answer. The FAO states that 70% of the world's additional food needs can be produced only by enhancing production methods and developing new technologies. Poultry is well recognized for its leadership in addressing the world demand for food that not only is safe and rich in healthy protein, but affordable. Through research, further innovation, and improvement, the industry will continue to be at the forefront of advances in food production, and all the while, preserving the heritage of the family farm and contributing to a healthier planet. The American consumer, along with the rest of the world, deserves nothing less. Thank you for watching this presentation. We hope you've enjoyed learning about the American poultry industry. If you're interested and would like to know more, simply contact the U.S. Poultry and Egg Association, which produced this video. Our website is www.poultryegg.org, or contact us via email at education@poultryegg.org.